like sharp minds. Brewed hot, sure bra. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat, repeat.
Paris Fashion Week, it's back again, and it always feels like the place to look, doesn't it? To kind of get a read on where we are, but told through, fabric and design.
Absolutely. And we just had two big ones back to back.
Right. The men's fall winter 2025, 2026, always fascinating to see where menswear is heading. And then boom, Haute Couture Spring Summer 2025. Just wow. Pure artistry.
It's like a contrast, isn't it? You've got the, let's say, more grounded world of menswear, and then this completely aspirational, dreamlike state of couture.
Exactly. But together, they paint such a rich picture, I think, of our visual world right now.
And of course, is shaping it, yeah.
And this season, some really standout moments. I mean, you think about Farrell at Louis Vuitton still going strong, and now bringing Nigo into the mix. The energy there is just, you can feel it.
Definitely. And then Dior doing that amazing look back to the 50s, but making it feel so current.
So sharp. And Valentino, Alessandro Michele, just arriving with this like full-on theatrical moment.
Total maximalism, a real statement.
Yeah. And Chanel sort of navigating that transition phase, But that core DNA, it's still so strong.
It really is. And what's so interesting, I think, isn't just the clothes themselves. Obviously, they're beautiful, but how these ideas, these aesthetics, they kind of ripple outwards.
Right. They influence way more than just what might end up in our closets eventually. It shapes how we see things more broadly.
Exactly. Our whole visual culture, in a way.
Okay, so let's dive into that first piece then. The men's fall winter shows in Paris. It really feels like menswear. It's doing more now than just saying this is the new suit shape or this is the color.
It's capturing a mood.
Yeah, a feeling, right.
Yeah.
And it's setting the stage for how we'll think about men's style, maybe for the next year or even longer.
For sure. And this season, you really saw that that tension between respecting the house codes, the heritage, and then designers really wanting to experiment to push things forward.
And it strikes me that men, maybe more than ever, are using clothes to, tell their own story. It's less about us fitting into a box.
That's a great point. Those, traditionally quite rigid ideas about masculine dressing seem to be loosening up, expanding quite a bit.
Designers are offering a much bigger vocabulary, if that makes sense.
It does. More ways to express individuality.
Okay, so Louis Vuitton, Pharrell Williams. He's really cemented this vibe, hasn't he? This mix of super high luxury with a real streetwear sensibility. But it never feels cheapened.
No, the prestige is absolutely still there. And bringing in Nigo from Kenzo this season, that adds another layer entirely.
Right. That Japanese influence. You saw things like delicate cherry blossoms on these really quite sophisticated, tailored pieces.
That's denim. Treated almost like couture, artisanal denim, really.
Yes. It's that blend, isn't it? Taking something seen as casual, like denim, and elevating it to this ultra-luxe level. Vuitton keeps playing in that space, where the everyday meets the extraordinary. What do you make of that kind of cultural mashup?
Well, it feels very now, doesn't it? Deliberately mixing those codes.
Yeah.
The cherry blossom, which is so distinctly Japanese, alongside the established French luxury of Vuitton, it creates something new, something fresh.
A visual dialogue.
Exactly. It reflects how global fashion is now. Influences just bouncing off each other constantly.
Okay, then shifting gears, you look at Dior. Kim Jones went in a totally different direction looking back. He actually used a 1954 women's collection as a starting point.
Which is fascinating in itself for menswear.
Right, and reimagined it with such precision. The result was just incredibly clean silhouettes, clothes designed for movement, beautiful movement, and this overall elegance. It just screams Dior, that modern tailoring.
It was a definite nod to the archives, wasn't it? But the execution felt completely contemporary.
Totally. You got that sense of the lines blurring maybe between traditional bespoke ideas and the ease of ready-to-wear. Why do you think designers keep returning to the archives like that?
That's a really good question. I think it's about finding relevance, maybe. Jones isn't just copying. He's having a conversation with the past.
Taking bits that still work.
Exactly. Elements that resonate today, and then putting them in a new context. It's about evolution, not just repetition, making those foundational ideas feel right for now.
And then somewhere else entirely on the spectrum, Hermès, it felt like they weren't trying to reinvent anything, really.
And that was his own kind of statement, wasn't it?
Yeah. Veronique Nichanian just stuck to that signature functional elegance. The collection just radiated this quiet confidence.
No chasing trends?
None. No big viral moments needed. Just incredibly well-made clothes, built to last. You know, those perfect cashmere coats, leather pieces that looked almost sculpted.
And those subtle equestrian nods, always there.
Always. Hermès seems to be saying, you know, real style doesn't need to shout. Quality, consistency, that speaks volumes.
Perfect.
What does that tell us, though, when everything else feels so fast?
Well, Hermes provides a really valuable counterpoint, I think. In a world obsessed with newness, their focus on enduring quality, on that understated design, it appeals to someone who values longevity.
Discreet sophistication.
Precisely. Over the fleeting its item. It's a very deliberate position in a very noisy industry.
And speaking of noise, or maybe a different kind of noise, Rick Owens.
Ah, yes. Always a distinct vision.
Totally true to himself. Still playing with deconstructing those traditional masculine codes. We saw these huge, almost like monumental capes.
Very dramatic silhouettes,
Right.
tribal, almost otherworldly.
Yeah, and jackets with those really exaggerated shoulders. Each look felt like it belonged to some, I don't know, alternative humanity. Part ancient ritual, part sci-fi future.
The Rick Owens man as this sort of warrior enigma figure.
Yes. While so much menswear leans practical, he just keeps reminding us it can be radical, it can push boundaries. What's his significance, do you think, in the bigger menswear picture?
Owens is crucial because he consistently challenges our ideas of what masculinity, even beauty, can look like in fashion.
He forces you to look differently.
Exactly. He pushes the edges of what's considered acceptable or even desirable. He's a genuine visionary with a really unique and actually quite influential voice.
So, wrapping up the men's season, what's the big takeaway? It feels like it's so much more than just suits and nice fabrics now.
Oh, absolutely. It's become this incredibly diverse arena for self-expression.
Yeah, designers are just constantly redefining what well-dressed even means. You've got Vuitton with that global hybrid thing.
Dior finding freshness in history.
Hermes championing that quiet quality.
And Rick Owens off in his own avant-garde world.
It really shows that men today, they're not just trying to fit one specific mold anymore, are they? They're picking and choosing, building their own narrative through clothes.
Choosing their story piece by piece.
Yeah. And this whole idea, you know, telling a story about our times through clothing, that really connects to what we see in things like teen series too, right? Yeah. They capture a generation's mood. They shape how we see things.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how both high fashion and seemingly lighter entertainment like TV shows, they both engage in this cultural storytelling. They use a shared visual language.
Okay, so let's shift now. Let's step into that other world, Haute Couture Spring/Summer 2025. This really is the pinnacle, isn't it?
It absolutely is, where, commercial concerns kind of take a back seat.
It's about pure artistic expression, craftsmanship that just blows your mind. Every single piece feels like a statement.
Not just clothes. A handcrafted vision of the world, yeah. Each bead, every pleat, telling some kind of story.
And this year, those visions were just so diverse, often spectacular. There was this interesting pull, I thought, between things that were really light and transparent, delicate.
Ethereal almost.
And then others that just went completely the other way, full-on, unapologetic Baroque richness.
Yeah, maximalist opulence. But one thing seemed pretty clear across the board.
Minimalism was definitely taking a break.
Nowhere in sight. What does that absence tell us, do you think, about where couture is right now?
Well, what's so compelling about couture is that it just refuses to be ordinary, right? In a world that's often about practicality, ease. Couture reminds us that fashion can be pure art. It can push boundaries.
So maybe the lack of minimalism suggests a kind of cultural mood, a yearning for more drama, more visual richness, perhaps, after maybe a period of things being a bit more pared back.
Could be. At Dior, Maria Grazia Chiuri went back into history again, looking at crinolines, corsets, but with this really modern interpretation.
So.
Well, these transparent dresses where you could actually see the internal structure, like the bones of the garment became part of the aesthetic.
Oh, interesting. Deconstructing it visually.
Yes, exactly. And then delicate lace, incredible embroidery, silhouettes that just seemed to float, and the staging. It felt like fairy tales, myths, but with this kind of edgy, almost brat era Alice in Wonderland vibe.
So a statement about elegance, but maybe questioning traditional femininity too, playfully.
Yeah, I think so. What did you make of that transparency element specifically?
I found it really compelling. By making those underpinnings visible, she's doing more than just showing construction right. She's inviting you to think about the unseen labor, the incredible skill involved in couture.
Celebrating the craft itself.
Yeah, it's a kind of deconstruction, but it still absolutely celebrates the beauty and the complexity of the piece.
Then Chanel. Always a big one, obviously, but especially this time being in that interim period, since Virginie Viard left.
Right. A lot of anticipation.
But the collection really proved how resilient that Chanel identity is. It felt like this interesting balancing act, respecting tradition. The tweeds were there, of course.
Could be Chanel without tweed.
Oh, exactly. But they were mixed with unexpected colors, and the shapes felt maybe a bit more fluid, less rigid somehow.
More free.
Yeah, more free, but still completely unmistakably Chanel. It felt almost like, okay, here's a clean slate before the next big chapter, which could really set a new direction. What does a collection like that and a transition say about the brand itself?
It's fascinating, isn't it? It suggests the house codes, the signatures, are so deeply embedded that they can guide the ship, even without a single named captain at the helm, for a time.
A real strength in the brand DNA itself.
Definitely. Strength and adaptability.
Okay, then Valentino. Alessandro Michele's debut. That was a moment.
A big moment. The former Gucci star arrives.
And he definitely did not hold back. Wow. It was pure maximalism. Insanely luxurious textures, gowns that looked like they belonged at court.
A visual explosion. Very operatic feel.
Totally. Voluminous dresses, incredibly intricate structures, embroidery that looked almost pictorial, like paintings in thread. You really got the sense Michele is setting out to define a new kind of modern opulence for Valentino. What was your first gut reaction to that? Such a strong shift.
Well, it certainly signals a very bold, decisive move towards more is more. That's his signature, isn't it? Those rich embellishments, the drama. It injects a totally new energy.
A very clear statement. A real departure from recent Valentino.
Absolutely.
Jean-Paul Gaultier's collaboration this season, it went kind of gothic, but mixed with nautical stuff.
Yeah, that was intriguing. Dark romanticism meets the sea.
Right, like corsets sculpted almost like armor, fabrics treated to look like they'd been submerged underwater.
And those headpieces. Inspired by old ships.
So dramatic. It felt like costumes from some amazing dark fantasy pirate film.
Yeah.
Just spectacular. And so Gaultier, right, always challenging conventions. Why do these designer collabs keep working so well, do you think?
Well, Gaultier's approach of bringing in guest designers consistently gives us these really unexpected, visually stunning results. And the way they can fuse themes that seem totally opposite, like gothic and nautical, that speaks to the brand's whole history of pushing boundaries, celebrating unconventional beauty.
And finally, Schiaparelli, still deep in that world of illusion and surrealism.
Daniel Roseberry's signature.
Kendall Jenner wore that incredible corset dress.
Yeah.
The trompe-l'oeil one. Made you do a double take, like her body was painted onto the fabric.
Yeah, that was amazing. Taking that art of illusion to another level, exaggerated shapes, playing with perspective, the clothes almost became living sculptures.
What does Schiaparelli's commitment to surrealism mean for its place in couture today?
It really cements Schiaparelli as the house that prioritizes fantasy, the unexpected. That dress perfectly showed their dedication to challenging perception, playing with our ideas of form and reality in fashion. It's unique.
So it feels like while ready-to-wear is maybe leaning more practical, adaptable for our lives, Haute Couture is just doubling down on the opposite. It's not about practicality at all. It's about sheer extravagance, big dreams, incredible showmanship. Fashion can still just completely blow you away.
A return to dreams, yeah.
And it feels like that vibe, that over-the-top dream quality in couture could easily trickle down, couldn't it? Influence pop aesthetics, like in films, music videos, maybe even digital fashion, which is exploding.
Oh, absolutely. That connection between the fantasy of couture and the more accessible world of pop culture is crucial for how trends spread. The visual language born on those runways often finds its way into our entertainment.
And speaking of aesthetics influencing culture, it doesn't stop at the runway, does it? It just seeps into everything, including the shows we binge watch. It feels like the reason we see such incredible stylized costumes now in shows like, say, Euphoria or The New Gossip Girl, even Bridgerton. It's because fashion and pop culture are locked in this constant feedback loop.
That's so true. Fashion and TV series, they're not separate worlds anymore.
Watching a series now often feels like a moving fashion show, doesn't it? Costumes aren't just about character anymore.
No, they're marketing tools. They're part of the narrative itself. And maybe, crucially, they're a huge stage for brands, maybe bigger than Paris or Milan sometimes.
Right. The real runway is Netflix or HBO for reaching millions.
And the way fashion is woven into the storytelling is so much more sophisticated now. Costume design is finally getting recognized as absolutely fundamental to the show's look, its identity, and driving that audience buzz.
Take Euphoria. Its impact was way bigger than just the plot lines, surely.
Oh, massively. It was so much about that look, that luminous aesthetic, those incredibly bold, personalized styles.
Each episode basically turned the characters into accidental fashion icons, didn't it? Pushing makeup, daring cuts, outfits that felt so individual.
Maddie Perez is the perfect example. Her outfits, Blue Marine, Mugler, Marc Jacobs, they single-handedly helped bring back that whole Y2K trend, like overnight.
Euphoria didn't just reflect trends, it made them. Remember after season 1, searches for asymmetrical tops or cutout dresses just went insane.
Totally. And brands jumped on it immediately, flooding stores with Euphoria-inspired looks. What does that instant effect tell us about the power of what we see on screen?
Well, Euphoria is just textbook, isn't it? A TV show as a potent trend incubator. The hyper-stylized looks just connected, drove demand. It's such a clear link between screen style and real-world buying.
And fashion choices, yeah.
And you can't talk about fashion in series without mentioning Gossip Girl. The original basically defined 2000s teen style. The headbands, the bags, that whole Upper East Side, preppy chic.
It was a whole mood board.
Totally. And when the reboot came along in 2021... Okay, maybe the story was debated, but the costume budget, wow, that deserved its own show.
Definitely leveled up.
Gone were the sort of classic school looks. This time, everyone had this super sharp, high-fashion wardrobe, mixing streetwear with couture pieces. Because the new Upper East Siders weren't just in Ralph Lauren anymore.
No, they were in Balenciaga. Rick Owens, even.
Right, which reflects a bigger shift, doesn't it? How dress codes have evolved. Even the elite are embracing edgier, maybe more underground looks to signal status now. Yeah. What does that style shift in the reboot suggest about how even high society sees fashion?
Well, that contrast between the original's very defined prep style and the reboot's high-fashion streetwear mix, it mirrors a broader change, I think, in how luxury is consumed, how those old boundaries are blurring.
More openness to experimenting, even in those circles.
Exactly. More individual expression, less conforming to one specific look.
And then there's Bridgerton. It's kind of amazing that even now, that whole Regency Corps thing it kicked off is still around.
Still has legs, yeah.
From season 1, it just brought back corsets, empire waists, those gorgeous pastel colors, like walking into a romantic painting.
And the result? Brands totally ran with it. We saw waves of collections inspired by the 1800s, but, updated.
But it wasn't just clothes, was it? Jewelry, hairstyles. It influenced everything. Even major houses like Dior put historical references in their shows, and designers like Vivienne Westwood got a whole new wave of interest in her neo-romantic style, all thanks to a Netflix show.
It's incredible.
What is it about that historical fantasy vibe that pulls so hard on current trends?
Well, Bridgerton's huge impact just shows the power of romanticizing an era, doesn't it? It created this real desire for a specific aesthetic that went way beyond fashion. It hit home decor, beauty, everything.
So why has fashion become so central in these shows now? It feels like the image sells just as much as the plot.
Yeah, the visual appeal is critical.
The days of watching purely for the story, maybe they're fading. Now a show has to be fashionable too. It needs to create those viral moments, spark trends.
And the platforms know this. Streaming services get it. Sure. Costume designers are now key players in the whole marketing game.
And the brands are right there too, obviously. A hit show is like a goldmine for fashion. You get official collabs, characters become influencers without even trying.
And fans desperately want to copy the looks of their heroes.
It just hammers home that fashion is way more than just fabric. There's this huge business engine behind it all.
Absolutely. That strategic integration into popular shows just highlights the symbiotic relationship now between entertainment and fashion. It's win-win. Visibility, cultural relevance. That all translates directly into money for both sides.
Fashion. It's beautiful, it's inspiring, it lets us dream, but yeah, underneath it all, it's a monster global industry. Billions of dollars.
Huge numbers.
Behind every show, every look that gets buzz on the runway, there are these super detailed commercial plans, investors watching closely, brands calculating ROI like crazy.
Nothing is left to chance.
And Fashion Week is ground zero for that. Those collections from the big houses, they're not just art projects, they are massive economic engines. They can really lift a brand or, if the sales don't follow, potentially hold it back.
And that impact feels faster, more direct, more controlled now in 2025 than maybe ever before.
The financial stakes are just immense. These aren't just creative showcases. They're incredibly carefully planned marketing campaigns designed to drive sales and boost that brand image globally.
Totally. Look at Louis Vuitton again. Since Farrell took over menswear, the commercial success has been pretty phenomenal, right?
Reports said his very first show, back in June 23, generated something like over 20 million euros in earned media value in less than 2 days.
Wow. That's serious impact.
And it seems to be continuing. Each collection drives huge sales accessories, sneakers, those limited collabs. They're consistently top-tier luxury sellers. It's not just selling clothes anymore, is it?
No, it's creating a whole visual universe.
Designed to be monetized across every single product line.
And that's the model for the other giants too, right? Dior, Chanel, Hermes.
Yeah.
They're not just doing runway shows for the love of it.
Absolutely not. A successful show is, first and foremost, a commercial launchpad. After a good fashion week, sales of related products often just take off.
That key piece you see on the runway.
Yeah, that statement piece. It gets translated down into ready-to-wear, accessories, even perfume and makeup sometimes.
It's the halo effect. A hit show creates buzz, boosts desirability across the board, and ultimately drives sales in all sorts of categories. And appointing those high-profile creative directors like Farrell, that's a key part of the whole economic strategy.
But it's not only the luxury houses cashing in, is it? Fast fashion is just unbelievably quick now.
Scarily quick. They spot the trends instantly. They know what's going to hit.
It feels like it only takes days sometimes before you see a version of a runway look, say, from Balenciaga popping up on Zara or Shein.
The cycle is complete. What starts as super exclusive becomes mass market accessible almost overnight.
And the luxury houses, they know this happens. They must. Some even play into it, right? With those collabs with more accessible brands, Gucci x Adidas, remember Balmain x H&M.
Yeah, what do you think about that relationship?
Mm-hmm.
High fashion and fast fashion.
Well, the speed of fast fashion really shows how trends get democratized now, doesn't it? Luxury sets the creative direction, the tone.
And fast fashion makes it available to basically everyone.
Yeah. And those collabs, maybe they're a strategic way for luxury to tap into new audiences, broaden their reach a bit.
Could be. It's complex.
But the real accelerant in all this, social media. Has to be.
Oh, fundamentally, a fashion show almost doesn't count now if it doesn't go viral.
Right. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
They're like extensions of Fashion Week itself. Every look gets pulled apart, commented on, turned into a meme or an instant trend.
We don't just consume fashion through magazines or boutiques anymore. It's this constant feed, analyzing runway looks in real time.
And who's at the center of that? The influencers.
The new luxury ambassadors.
Yeah. They can make or break a collection with a post, can't they? Or if something doesn't get enough traction online, it just disappears.
Fashion feels like it's become as much a battle of algorithms as it is about creativity.
Totally. Designers aren't just creating for customers anymore. They're creating for content. Everything needs to be Instagrammable, TikTok ready, visually spectacular enough to grab attention in that split second.
Social media has just completely reshaped the landscape. Influencers are the gatekeepers, the amplifiers.
Yeah.
They shape perception and drive desire massively. And the visual nature of TikTok and Instagram means designs have to be incredibly shareable to cut through.
Which leads to this weird paradox, doesn't it? Fashion feels more accessible than ever. You can see it all instantly. But it also feels more fleeting.
So much faster.
Yeah.
What's hot today is old news tomorrow.
And brands are constantly juggling that tension. Desirability versus exclusivity, creating rarity versus needing to go viral, honoring heritage versus constant innovation.
It's a tough balancing act.
So yeah, Fashion Week is still this incredible showcase of creativity, right? A lab for new ideas, pushing aesthetic boundaries. But it's also, and maybe more than ever, a spectacle industry.
A carefully orchestrated show.
Where every detail is designed to sell, to captivate, to fit into this now culture where everything moves at the speed of a swipe. And maybe, in the end, that's the real magic of fashion. This constant blend of art and business, always shifting between the dream and the reality, the vision and the bottom line.
Ultimately, Fashion Week today is this incredibly complex mix, isn't it? Artistic expression, strategic marketing, and the nonstop influence of social media.
Right.
Brands aren't just selling clothes anymore. They're selling aspiration, belonging, a place in this rapidly changing culture.
So looking back at this whole deep dive, it's clear fashion is so much more than just clothes. It's this huge industry, yes, but also a powerful art form, a finely tuned economic machine, and maybe most importantly, a language. It tells us so much about what society is obsessed with, what we aspire to.
Definitely. And this season, between the men's shows and Haute Couture, gave us such a snapshot of that. Audacious creativity, constant renewal.
On one side, designers were really pushing what masculine elegance can mean, blurring lines between old and new.
And on the other, couture houses were just letting imagination run wild, transforming fabric into these incredible shapes and textures.
But that influence, it never just stays contained on the runway, does it? Which teen series have totally tapped into? They know they're not just telling stories anymore. They're shaping aesthetics, setting trends, capturing the feel of a generation.
Whether it's the boldness of Euphoria, the high fashion edge of Gossip Girl, or the romance of Bridgerton, they all reflect their moment, just like fashion reflects society.
And always, behind the scenes, there's that well-oiled machine, the business side. A spectacle designed to sell, influence, create desire. From the ultra-luxe runway to fast fashion, what we see today probably ends up in our feeds and maybe our closets tomorrow.
It really highlights that fascinating, often contradictory nature of fashion, doesn't it? Where art meets commerce, exclusivity meets viral hype, and where fleeting trends can somehow leave a lasting mark on our culture. It really makes you think about your own relationship with it all. How do the styles you see everywhere, in shows, online, how do they shape what you want, what you find desirable? Definitely something to mull over.
Cappuccino, white crop, mines, brewed hot, served raw. No sugar, no filter, sip, think, repeat.